Welcome back to the Barca Breakdown. My name is Yusuf, and I'm here with my co-host Adam.
What's up, guys?
Smash that subscribe button because we just got our first victory with the October from Hell, and against a team, Mallorca, which is the 13th on the table. I really did expect a win, but we did have our worries coming into this right after this international break with all the injuries we had. What was Xavi going to do with our lineup? And as we saw today, he played a little bit with the right and left back with Jordi Alba on the left and then Balde on the right back. And then we also had to have Pique come in because we have some injuries in our defensive line, our center backs. And then, in the front, we also didn't play Rafinha. We decided to play Fati, who needs some time to get moving and get, recover some of those injuries and get used to everything. So we come into this game. We don't look too good, Adam. I know we won 1-0, and that's really what's important right now is getting those points and be able to continue and push through the difficult time this season. But I hope this is just enough to shove off those cobwebs coming into the game for Inter Milan this Tuesday, because we definitely need to win that game, or at the very least draw them, because we don't want to get knocked out of this Champions League. And going straight into this game, what was your first impression with the lineup?
Well, I think you're being a little bit overly critical, and I think a lot of fans too have
fair.
like an expectation that kind of the meme of Xavi 4-0 victories will happen all the time. And as we said in our video midweek talking about the October from Hell, as I call it, we're against some very tough teams, right? Not only Inter Milan twice, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, but we have Bilbao coming up, who are now third in the league with Ernesto Valverde as their coach, right? Mallorca is the team with the lowest block in all of La Liga, and so it's not a great opponent for us to come out right after this international break, and to get a 1-0 victory is what we need, right? We need to scrape by points. Like I think we need to get our minds adjusted from previous years, honestly 4+ years ago, where Barca could somehow kind of sleepwalk and win victories against a lot of these La Liga teams. It's not true, right? Mallorca have only allowed, I think, 7 goals in the first 6 games up to this point, and so I knew they were going to put up a really tough defensive fight. And then on top of that, I knew Dembele was coming off of a tweak in his calf with the French national team. I knew Frenkie de Jong was out. Of course, everyone knows Araujo and Koundé are out, and so I just wanted to win, right? And like you were saying, we basically won because of Ter Stegen and Lewandowski, with Lewandowski having one moment of magic where he's able to put a goal away. And there are a lot of negatives that we can comb through, but the team was able to scrap through the victory, and that's what counts, right? Those 3 points. 3 points is 3 points, no matter if you win it 10-0 or 1-0 like we did today. But like you're saying, there were some issues we have, right? And I think going into the lineup and answering your question, I was very interested by the fact that Xavi decided to play Balde as the right back, right? We thought maybe Sergio Roberto, who's played there so often, might come in. Bellerin, he just got an injury. He's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks, but I thought also Marcos Alonso might get some playing time. But we went with an Alba and Balde back line, and besides that, I mean, Pique coming in instead of Eric Garcia was also a little bit fascinating to me. I do wonder, and this kind of connects to our talk midweek again about, Pique and whether or not Eric Garcia and Christensen are going to be our main 2 center backs. I think Pique might be the guy who's taking up the slack in La Liga, but I do expect Eric Garcia and Christensen to start against Inter Milan midweek. And it's an Inter Milan team that just lost 1-2 to Roma at home. So, oftentimes our competition in the Champions League like to play up to our levels, but I'm hoping Inter Milan, who are having a little bit of a back year after 2 really good years in Serie A, I'm hoping they're going to be a little bit winded. I think besides that, like you said, right, we had the Fati, Lewandowski, Dembele front 3. Made a lot of sense. I mean, we have talked a lot over the last 2 months or 3 months here about how Rafinha and Dembele are both better as right wingers, and how we end up putting one of them as left wing because Ferran Torres hasn't been that impressive so far. Ansu Fati is still in that weird phase of like we need to give him minute by minute checkups to make sure he doesn't re-aggravate his injuries and slowly reacclimate him to the team. But you could see some moments in this game, even when he gets that assist, to Lewandowski, although, pretty easy assist he got there. He's starting to get some more fluidity, and he is probably our best player besides Memphis Depay as well on that left wing. And I think he does a better job than Rafinha or Dembele do over there. So I was happy to see Fati get some time. Then in the midfield, I was a little bit surprised to see, Busquets, Gavi, and Kessie. I didn't expect Kessie to start. I thought we'd put in Pedri, but considering before the international break we had talked so much about how Pedri looked tired and how he had just played for Luis Enrique in the Spanish national team, I wasn't, I guess with Frankie out too, Kessie is kind of the next man up, and I thought I would be interested to see how he played, although going into the game, I was a little bit confused. I still feel like Kessie is not a player we have a good understanding of where he needs to be. He roams a little bit into the box, a lot more than I think Gavi or Frankie de Jong do, and he provides an outlet there, right, if we're able to get the ball in the middle and kind of pass around. But with Mallorca playing such a low block, it really felt like a game of just a lot of sideways passes, right, which is what Barca kind of always look like when we're not at the tip top of our shape. And I think one of the elements of this season, so many people, including us, have been talking about that's more dynamic is getting Dembele on the run, getting our team out in transition. But with Mallorca being comfortable to play with 10 men behind the ball, even when they're down 1-0, there just wasn't a lot there for us to do.
Yeah, but I think we could have taken advantage in different areas. You're talking about side passing a little bit and, working our way out to the wing. Let's go on to Dembele. Like, we didn't really see any action from his side of the pitch. A lot of times he had to make runs backwards to play defense. He didn't have Balde, interplaying with him to create any offense on that right side. And typically, we do see Gavi interplay with our winger on the right side and trying to get runs into the box. We didn't see that much today.
Well, but that is kind of a formation thing, right? Because I'm
sure.
fairly positive Gavi played on the left today, right? So that was kind of my point, is that with Kessie occupying that right midfielder spot, he doesn't really, either he's not comfortable, and then there's the added, unique bonus of Balde being over there who's not over there. It's just nothing seemed to work because no one had been familiar playing together.
Sure, but I totally agree with you. That's a very great point. I just meant even so, Dembele wasn't even creating anything. We've seen plenty of times he doesn't interplay with anybody. He's able to make runs down the right wing, playing on the touchline, getting crosses into the box, and we didn't really see any of that today. Not saying it was necessarily bad, but it was just a lack of normality from Dembele, in my opinion, there. And then with the Kessie thing, pushing down in the middle, I think Lewandowski, we saw a few times drop back, play either defense or try to get the ball back there. And I think that leaves that space open. And I don't know if Kessie just feels like he must move to that centerpiece to kind of create something. But it doesn't really end up connecting with anybody. I think he had one shot that went wide on the left side. But overall, I don't think that is something he has really figured out. We definitely, he doesn't have a lot of playtime playing. I think he played 90 minutes today with Gavi and Busquets, and then Pedri came in just for a short time. But I think we still trying to figure out some of these players that don't get a lot of time and put them against a team.
It is just like the classic situation, right? I feel like we've had this conversation for years, but we just, especially in La Liga, this doesn't happen as much in the Champions League, but in La Liga, we play against so many teams who are just going to put in that low block and just put 10 men behind the ball. And we have a constant issue with kind of how to break down that defense. And then if you combine that with, a new right back, you combine that with Pedri and Frankie de Jong, two of our best midfielders, not playing to start the game. It was kind of a comedy of errors. And I just feel like, we got saved, right? Lewandowski, he pulled that rabbit out of the hat, and it's just proving anyone, and I was hesitant too a little bit with the 50 million euro price tag, but he's just proven everyone wrong, right? He's got 9 goals through 7 games now in La Liga, leading the race for the Pichichi this season, and at the end of the day, he's just amazing, right? There's no other way to say it. It reminds you, although not to the same level of Messi or of Suarez, of just those players who can kind of create something out of nothing. He was down, right, in that first half when he scores the goal. He's down on the left side, which I don't see him often score from that side. He kind of, dekes out the defender with a fake cross and then shoots it in just an inch perfect angle right into that back right corner of the net. And it's just so amazing to have him. That's the type of player you need, right? And that's really a big difference from us last season, is we have that person in the middle who can just create a goal out of nothing. Dembele does offer that sometimes, although like you said, he's had a pretty mediocre game today, and I think in the last game as well. And so just hoping the team can shake off these cobwebs, right? What we were talking about during the game was kind of, how similar is the lineup we're seeing today to this lineup we'll see against Inter Milan? And I think it'll be fairly similar, but the big difference is Pedri. he's that player. And even you could see when Pedro came in the second half, he was, he had that nice run into the box and tried to backheel it to Lewandowski, although he should have probably shot it there. Yeah, definitely. But, Pedro is kind of the X factor who we were missing. And so I don't know. I manage my expectations this week. I came in, I knew Mallorca are a tough defensive team, and I wasn't expecting anything crazy, and so a win for me is huge. Like if we got a draw, I wouldn't have been surprised, and so I'm very happy. I think Mallorca had a good game plan. I mean, it almost worked, right? Just the classic hit us on the counter. What is kind of odd about their team is they didn't have that much speed on the counter. So a lot of times, and an area for us to focus on is defensively when it was like a corner, a set piece, or they were kicking in crosses from the side. I mean, Jordi Alba just loses all concentration on that side and really does not convince me that he's ready to play big minutes for us against Inter.
Well, they had a few opportunities like that, though. It wasn't just Alba's one mistake. The last 10-15 minutes of the game, I was worried they were going to score. They were breaking our men. A lot of times we were just either disorganized or we got juked or whatever. They were too slow. Whatever the case may be, we became very lethargic. We weren't moving to the ball. We weren't covering players well, and we saw a few balls come in that Stegen either had to save or just went wide, and we can't, no matter how, just coming off of those cobwebs or just playing different players, we can't fall asleep like that. That game could have been gone from plus 3 points to +1, or even, they had enough opportunities that we could have lost that game if we've seen it happen before. It's not the only instance. And like we said, it was one moment of brilliance that won us this game. So,
the reassuring thing, though, is for me is that, I thought Christensen had a very good game. And I thought Pique, all things considered, with his lack of playtime, was also fairly good. So, on one side, the good thing is with our backup center backs, who we were kind of worried about taking over for Araujo or for Koundé, they did a fairly good job through the middle. But like you're saying, you're totally right that I think Jordi Alba on the right, and then, on our left side too, we just didn't have the defense there that we need, and I'm just hoping we can shore it up because, again, I'm always thinking forward, thinking to Inter Milan or to Vinicius or to Sadio Mane and Alphonso Davies. Like, we have some real terrors coming at us from the wings, and we need to quickly sort out how to best prevent them from getting big opportunities against us.
Yeah, and we're coming up. Inter, Celta, Inter again, and then Real Madrid on the 16th, and that they are 1 point behind us now. They play tomorrow, and they can easily win that game against Osasuna. So we're still on our toes here, right? There's no letting up. We got to keep our foot on the gas, and we got to take every point that we can get and take every opportunity because this whole month is going to be a challenge, and we have to get through it. We can't. I can't let Real Madrid run away with this season. I'll be so bummed if we're not fighting to the last moment or we run away. I don't think that'll happen, but
and the good news is right now we're top of La Liga, right? I mean,
yes.
We have a game. They have a game in hand that they'll play tomorrow. But hey, as of right now, we're sitting at the top of La Liga. We've only allowed 1 goal in the league this entire season through 7 games. We've gotten 6 victories ever since that first draw to start the season, and so there, sometimes it can be easy to be super critical when you don't see impressive performances, and the game before the international break was also a little bit rough. But Tuesday night against Inter Milan will be the real challenge where, our team's going to have to dig deep and everyone's going to have to kind of bring their A game.
Yeah, I hope that we can squeeze out that win. It'll make us, we'll ease a little bit, not be too worried. And I think there's not much to say there because it's just... We got to go full force on Tuesday. We got to take that game, and hopefully, Pedri has the confidence to take shots in those positions. Lewandowski is prepared to, showboat a little bit because he wasn't able to do that against his former team Bayern in the first game against them. So yeah, I'm prepared. I'm ready for this. I want to go into this with a very positive mindset. And any final words, Adam?
No, thank you all so much. Please hit that subscribe button. If you listen on podcasts, go to youtube.com, Barca Breakdown. Follow us on Twitter @Barca Breakdown. Thank you all so much. We'll see you against Inter.
Thanks, guys.